Hey gardeners, Amy here. Welcome to my garden. Today I want to talk about this showstopper right here. This is called Ligularia. There are a couple of common names, but they're not used very often from what I know of. The common names I was able to find were leopard plant, Ligularia, and narrow-spiked Ligularia. That's for this specific variety, which is also called the rocket. Ligularia is a genus with several dozen, maybe almost 100 different species in it. I was surprised at how many different species there are of Ligularia. I didn't count them, but there are a lot. From what I can tell, they are all native to Asia. None are native to the US. Again, from what I could tell. This specific variety, I'm pretty sure, is Ligularia stenocephala. Ligularias are in the Asteraceae family, which is the daisy or sunflower family, and they have one thing in common amongst that whole family. That is, each flower is not one flower, but it's a flower head, a compact flower head with several individual flowers in each structure. What we call petals are actually ray flowers. Each petal is its own flower, and then the center, if you think of like a sunflower or an aster or a daisy, you have that center in the middle of the flower. Those are called disc flowers, and there are hundreds of them. On a Ligularia, in this variety specifically, the rocket, there are dozens of flower heads on this tall stalk. If the plant is really happy, it can bloom for many, many weeks. Mine is not happy because I don't water it enough. So if I did get out here and give it a little bit more water, then it would probably be a lot bigger than this and have a lot more flowers, but I'm just not likely to remember to do that, so I'm sorry, baby. Again, there are so many different varieties of Ligularia. Some of my other favorites are the ones that have daisy flowers and then red leaves. There's tons of different leaf shapes, leaf colors, flower shapes, flower colors. There's all kinds of different varieties. So pretty much whatever you're looking for your garden, if you have a shady spot, this may be a good plant choice for you. I can't speak for all the different Ligularias here, but this variety, the rocket, is zoned at USDA zone 4 through 8. It gets about 3 to 5 feet tall, 2 to 4 feet wide, and it can bloom from June to July. It likes part shade to full shade, and I'm really not kidding about that. Ligularias like shade. They cannot tolerate very much sun at all. They need shade, and they do need some moisture to do well. Water preference is medium to wet, so it needs regular water. It tolerates heavy shade and wet soil. This would be a great plant for a rain garden, especially if you do have a shady spot in a rain garden, but somewhere where there is consistent moisture on a regular basis. This would be a fantastic plant for that. It's best grown in rich, humusy, medium to wet soils in part shade to full shade, in a location sheltered from winds. It must have moist soils that never dry out. It will benefit from regular deep watering in hot summers. If it does start to get thirsty, the leaves will start to wilt. I deep watered this yesterday and it's still already wilting. Now, mind you, this is a hot summer day. It's 90 degrees today, and it got up to like 99 yesterday or something. So it doesn't surprise me. That's why I've been deep watering this thing. Ligularia is an upright, flowering, herbaceous perennial in the aster family, native to Asia and grown for its imposing spires of bright yellow flowers. The plant has a basal rosette of stem leaves that diminish in size as they go up the 40-inch stems. Daisy-like yellow flowers blossom on long spikes. The genus name comes from the Latin word ligula, meaning strap, in reference to the shape of the ray flowers. In its native habitat, Ligularia is often found on rocky cliffs near seashores, streamside meadows, and forests in China. It doesn't need much care. All I do for this plant is I might deadhead it once the flowers finish. Sometimes I leave them for the seeds, but I've never seen the seeds start again, so I don't know if that makes much difference. But if you're going to deadhead it, you take the flowering stalk and you go all the way down to a leaf joint so that the stick disappears, and that's it. I don't even cut it back in the spring. Like, the leaves all disintegrate by spring. If there's some dead ones, I might pick them up, but I'd rather just leave them there to feed the soil again. So the only care this plant needs is regular water and shade and good soil. It needs to be put in the right spot. But once you put it in the right spot, that's pretty much it. Problems you may encounter with this plant are slugs and snails really like to eat the leaves, so you might have some damage from them. And again, the leaf wilt if it gets too hot in the summer. As for ecology, I don't see too much happening on this plant. I'm not even sure what drinks the nectar. I do see the occasional bee on it, but not very often. Again, it's not native to the United States, so I don't actually expect very many of our native bee and butterfly species to go crazy for this. They didn't evolve together, so they may not even recognize this as food. Although I will say this little katydid is absolutely going to town on the flowers. He or she seems to be having a buffet right now. Hello. How are you? Are you enjoying my plant? Now it's just sitting there watching me. Who are you and what are you doing? So if your goal for your garden is to plant species that will feed bees and butterflies and other pollinators, this may not be the plant for you. But if you have a spot that is so wet and so shady that nothing else will grow, this is a really good solution. As far as what's blooming at the same time so that you can make a really cool combination of flowers, heuchera, right here. My heuchera has been blooming for weeks, and I have it right next to the Ligularia. It's actually almost done. Hellebore has been blooming for months. It's actually done now. The flowers are all dried out, but they're persisting, so they still look really cool. And my astilbe is blooming at the same time. So putting Ligularia next to astilbe would be a really good combination. They both need deep shade, and they both like lots of water, so that would be a really good combo to put in a shade garden. And if it's happy, the Ligularia will keep blooming for a while and should still be blooming by the time the hostas start blooming. So just a few different combinations of colors and ideas for you to consider. That's it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video and you learned something new, make sure to tell me by hitting the like button. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments down below. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe so you get more gardening content like this in your video feed every week. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the garden.